Hello, everybody, and welcome to Electric City Sentai Denzicaster, your weekly look into the wonderful world of Tokusatsu. I'm your host, Mike, and I am once again joined by...
Hey, I'm Joe Gibbons' homeboy, Josh. Woo, woo! Nice to be back, America.
So, it's me and Josh again. No, it's not more Johnny Sacco this week. Nope, we are going back to Choujuu Sentai Liveman, our ongoing series here on Denzicaster for the moment. And we just got done watching episodes 13 and 14 of Liveman. I don't have the notes in front of me to tell me what the episode titles were, but they were pretty much one-off episodes, although episode 14 looks like it's the beginning of an arc, if I remember correctly. So this is pretty much the first of Liveman that Josh has ever seen.
No, this is the first of Liveman that I've ever seen. As in, I came in pretty much missing the entirety of the setup for this backstory. But what you explained to me during the opening credits is the only thing I have about this, which actually kind of made it better, because other than that brief thing, I'm like, okay, so the bad guys were students like them, but somehow they became evil doctors.
Right.
And then actually when you described to me, like, Ashura's deal, that he was this not really smart, but invincible gang leader, and now he's a badass, invincible, like, gang leader doctor.
Yes.
Which I was like, okay, I like him. He's cool.
I thought you would enjoy him. What's your first impressions of Liveman?
Little goofy, but not like in a silly way, as in just strange. Like the fact that their friends got turned into butterflies and then got murdered.
Well, they didn't actually get turned into butterflies. In the first episode, they're just straight up murdered. It's more symbology.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But you could easily be forgiven for thinking that based off the opening credits. So, what do you think of just sort of the look and the feel? Because is this the first Super Sentai show you've seen that predates Power Rangers?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Well, technically, even though that's not really a Sentai show, but Zubat was like the oldest thing that I've watched.
No, Johnny Sacco's the oldest thing I've watched.
This is the oldest like Sentai show.
Yeah, Zubat is just a Toku hero.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the oldest Super Sentai. Zubat's the oldest Toku hero show you've watched.
Mm-hmm.
We need to watch Zubat at some point on Denzicaster, because
it's so good.
It's interesting.
It's so good.
It is Hiroshi Miyuchi at his finest.
But I mean, I really like the robot. Just the way the Zord forms his sword is really cool.
Yes.
Especially for something that's in the mid 80s. Yeah. And then I like the suit designs. That's one thing I'd like to see that in the Sentai show. Not afraid to get a little bit dark.
Right.
Or in certain cases, super dark.
Yeah. So to give you guys sort of a bit of a synopsis of these two episodes, episode 13 pretty much all revolves around Cologne, our robotic sidekick, who more or less falls in love with one of the enemy foot soldiers, the Jimmers. One of them goes rogue, decides he's had enough of this, he doesn't want to be a foot soldier.
He wants to find the love of a good woman and settle down somewhere.
Well, apparently. He winds up basically getting dosed with a poison gas that is being used as part of a plot to take over the Earth, and more or less, just like I said, turns rogue and falls in love with Cologne, although we initially don't realize he's a robot, or at least they don't. We do as the viewers.
Well, I didn't at first until he explained to me what the dummy men were.
Right.
Which I referred to him as a Robosexual.
Yes. So
not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, of course not.
But,
of course not.
But then I was like, oh, okay, he's a robot too. Okay.
Yes. So, and of course, the Jimmer does what all good Jimmers do in this show, which is get blown up, regardless of which side of the fence they're on. We see Cologne's righteous indignation, and she actually joins the fight with the Liveman for an episode until we get down towards the end, where it's Blue Dolphin defending the love of her female friend. How dare you take away her love?
Mm-hmm.
And then we get into episode...
Because I really couldn't see either of the other two Livemen saying that line.
Yeah, Joe and Yusuke are not really going to go that direction. There's also so they tend to rotate between the four different doctors as being the general for an episode. instead of one of them being the general for an entire arc.
Okay.
So what did you think of Dr. Mazinda? That is our female doctor with the guns.
Oh, the elbow guns?
Yes.
That was a little bit out of left field, but really, her suit looks cool.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, looks because the first thing is where one of the professors made some comment that angered Ashura, and he went from 0 to "bitch, I will cut you" at the drop of a hat.
Well, that was Mazinda.
Yeah, where Mazinda said something that incensed him so much that Ashura tried to shank her, right there. But like I said, definitely all three of them have like a really cool like evil commander vibe. Even though the leader had his little weird gold bow on his armor.
Yes, that would be Professor Bias. So then we get into episode 14, which is actually, if I recall correctly, it's the beginning of an arc in the series with Ashura, Dr. Ashura forming his Cyber Bushin.
Ashura and the Shuras.
Yes, Ashura and the three Shuras.
Which sounds like a boy band to me.
Possibly. But basically they are based on himself, part of himself. They think like him, act like him, and so on. So the thought process is because they are a step above any other monster or whatnot that could be created, they will take out the live man. And there's 3 Cyber Bushin, just like there's 3 live man. So that becomes your first long-term look at Ashura. What do you think of Dr. Gang Leader? Dr.
Gangley, I like that he always the one thing you think he's confident in is his innate superiority in combat in all things, where he's never like, oh man, I can't believe that I lost.
Right.
But and then also one of the things I like about it is that he definitely he also seems to really enjoy this first time in his life being the smartest guy in the room.
Yes. I also enjoy...
He likes to rub it in when he's winning, like very much so.
Yes. I also like them showing in this. He has a very pronounced mean streak. It's not enough to simply beat Red Falcon.
He has to humiliate him.
Torture and humiliate him and make it slow. In which the whole plot revolves around dousing him with so much electricity that not only will he electrocute anything or anyone he touches, but he also basically becomes a walking electromagnet. Yes.
And no, just the electromagnet. I don't know. I mean, he had a ton of crap stuck to him. For some reason, a tin of Danish butter cookies stood out to me.
Yeah.
That was being owned by 2 bachelors.
Yes, 2 bachelors in a Japanese apartment. Overall, these pair of episodes, what stood out to you? What did you like?
Like the villains,
right?
Like the darker tone, and I like that. Even though this one, it seems early on that this is the three Rangers are. It's still very much a growing pain process, right, where it even says that Dr. Bias's plans are getting more and more horrible. But it looks like they're working better together.
Right.
Their teamwork is stronger. I really like that really strange moment at the end where Dolphin comes up dressed like a nun. To help. I don't know why she did.
This is a staple of 80s Toku and earlier, so really 70s and 80s, where the female lead is always the master of disguise.
Oh, okay.
So...
That's all I know is I'm like, it's a nun. Oh wait,
yes.
It's Dolphin. Okay.
Yes, it's Megumi, and Megumi's a nun suddenly for no apparent reason other than...
Of course, she figures out this. Oh, the way we stop the magnet is if we get electrocuted by him. All right, go, Joe. Joe's like, I ain't doing that.
It's
be brave, Joe. I ain't doing that.
The idea of discharge the electricity and it all will go away. I will say this, because Will's not here to say it himself. Will's least favorite part of this show is when they destroy the monster with their big cannon, the Biomotion Buster, only for another monster to show up, make the monster grow, and they have to beat it again. Both Will and Sam, who has been on here a handful of times for our Sailor Moon episodes, for the life of them, cannot understand why, other than plot, that they don't just turn around with the cannon and shoot the other guy too. It's like, he's coming. So
yeah, I think it's plot basically.
Yeah,
because if they do that, there's no giant monster.
Yeah, it's because it's Super Sentai. They have to have a giant monster fight. It's not the dumbest make my monster grow I've ever seen in these shows. It's not the most. It's also not the most elegant either, but it's far from the dumbest. Something that
it does the job.
Yes. Something you didn't care for. What was in here that you just kind of got?
Actually, oddly enough, when they summon the giant like Buster gun.
Okay.
Like just the cheesy like wire animation that they use. That for some reason to me I was like, yeah, that looks kind of lame.
Yeah, the wireframe work they use for that. The wireframe style is something that's kind of continues throughout the show because that's also part of their transformation sequence is the wireframes. But yeah, for summoning the Biomotion Buster, it didn't age worth a damn. So
that's really the only negative thing I had about the episodes that I watched was that. I mean, I enjoyed it. I liked the characters, even though one thing I did like was there's this moment where like Yusuke is just beat the hell up, and he's trying to call them. He's like, "Why isn't anyone responding?" And then it cuts to Joe playing Famicom on the monitor,
and their secret base.
And Dolphin's just like, "No, what if somebody needs help?" He's like, "Oh, they're fine."
And cut back, and
he's like, "Why? Why won't they answer me?"
So, and, this would have been this was like 87, 88, so the Famicom still's this is a big thing in Japan. So it was actually pretty cool to see it on TV. I enjoyed this couple episodes. I enjoy Ashura. He's probably, if he's not my favorite all-time Super Sentai general or rival character, which is really what he kind of falls into. He's less the general and more Red Falcon's rival, which was a trope that Super Sentai kept up for quite a while and then eventually just got out of having one character show up to be the rival, a one-on-one rivalry. Gokaiger did it because that's basically what Bosco is.
Yeah.
Bosco is the rival for Captain Marvelous, even though he's not the big bad guy or even affiliated with the big bad guys. So it's been done in modern Super Sentai, just not often. So I really like that character here. He is, like I said, he's not my favorite all-time rival. That role belongs to a guy from Die Ranger, but who I can't remember the name of at the moment. But although his actor is actually in this show too.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. But it's just a tremendous villain character, and I really like the show. It's my favorite, probably my favorite of the '80s Super Sentai.
This
shows.
is one thing, just a rant from the very, very tiny smidgen of Japanese I remember from class is the personal pronoun that Ashura uses is arewa, which is one of the most swaggeringly like douchey ways to refer to someone in Japanese. That is basically saying, "I'm Stone Cold Steve Austin."
Nice.
I am a big bad man.
Right.
Yeah, basically like. So, generally, you get a lot of crap if you use that pronoun, and you're not a swaggering, big motorcycle driving badass.
So he's got a high opinion of himself.
Yes.
So, what would you look forward to in this series? What would you want to see going forward out of this?
I'd like to see... I'm actually interested in seeing Bias, like, do some stuff, just because the two I saw, he was very much just the guy behind the curtain, so to speak. He just kind of sat back.
That's a recurring theme. Everyone wants to see Bias do more stuff. He's done a little bit because we see a little bit of Bias in the episodes where Ashura becomes a genius, but not really much past that.
And even though I know this is pretty much anytime I watch a new Sentai show, one of my first things I want to see is I can't wait to see whom the additional Rangers are.
This show is really unique in that regard because what most people don't necessarily realize up front when they go back and they look at old Super Sentai, all they're familiar with is Power Rangers, the Sixth Ranger trope actually started with Mighty Morphin. It starts in Zyuranger. Prior to that, there wasn't a 6th Ranger that always showed up. And even with Mighty Morphin, up until a few years in, it wasn't even something that happened every season. Mm-hmm. It would happen periodically. This show, though, is somewhat unique in that you start with a partial team. So we start with red, blue, and yellow. Eventually, it's not me spoiling anything, because if you've watched Gokaiger or you've seen any of the images, you know this. There is a green and a black Liveman too, and it's Green Sai and Black Bison. And so the two of them do show up, and they have their own arc that gets them into the show. What I always thought was really interesting is in this show, they wait a while to do that. I mean, it's like mid-20s or into the 30s.
You've seen more Sentai shows than I have. So, in general, like, at least I know in Die Ranger and this, like, Black Bison, in general in Sentai, is the Black Ranger generally, like, the strong man of the team?
So, the tropes for the tropes, or the colors certainly all have a trope to them. Black, when they use black and green are usually interchangeable. Mm-hmm. So you don't typically have a black and a green on the same team. Liveman's actually sort of unique in that. Black is almost always the strong man, or the cool guy.
Yeah.
So like the strong man example in Zyuranger, and oh my lord, because I just watched that show earlier this year and I've already forgotten the character's name. But Mammoth Ranger in that is the strong guy.
And then like in Kyoryu Black is the ladies' man, leather jacket wearing cool guy.
Same thing if you look at Jetman, Black Condor, that kind of thing. Whereas if you look at the Green Rangers, typically, green is either the cool, calm, and collected person, he's not cool like the Fonz, he's cool I'm trying to think of a character off the top of my head and I can't. Cool like Captain Cold, like Leonard Snart's, always very chill. No pun intended.
Well, I know there's another one where, like, occasionally I've watched like some of the little press events they do for the new series. Is like I watched the one for Gokaiger, and they asked Doc. They asked him if he was going to be up to any, and I quote, green tricks, whatever that means.
So to sort of run through them, the Red Ranger typically is always the leader. That's not 100% the case. There's been a couple of seasons where Red wasn't the leader. Mm-hmm. But Red is usually either the very confident, strong leader type, which is what we get here, and that's what you get in most of the early ones, or is the headstrong, fireball kind of guy, the loose cannon.
Like Akaza Bonbon and Deca Ranger.
Exactly. Yeah. And occasionally you'll get Red as being the aloof big damn hero, which that's Captain Marvelous. Mm-hmm. Blue is usually the second in command, and generally Blue is either going to be comic relief or he's going to be the most competent fighter on the team. Yellow usually is whatever Blue isn't.
Actually, so, that actually kind of makes sense because I know like in this one where Dolphin is like the very complex spiritual, mm-hmm. and the yellow he's kind of the goof off and jokester. Yeah.
Then you have, although for the record, if yellow's a girl, that doesn't always hold true. Pink is almost always the princess type. Very rarely do they do anything else, although occasionally Pink is the badass. That's happened once or twice. Black, we talked about. Green, if Green isn't the cool hand Luke of the team, then Green is the jokester. Mm-hmm. So that's Doc, and he's the one that's got all the tricks and is sort of the cowardly fighter.
And in Deca Ranger, Shin is kind of both.
Yeah, Sin can fall into.
Because he's very much the calm, collected thinker, but he also has really crazy plans that kind of come sideways in a situation.
Yes. And then there are other colors. White, if it's a guy, typically falls into whatever tropes red, blue, or yellow might. If it's a girl, then it's usually whatever trope applies to pink. The only 2 times I can think of, well, there are 3 times I can think of where red didn't lead a team. Twice it was a girl. Because in Kaku Ranger, technically, Ninja White is the leader of the team.
Okay.
And she's the only girl on the team. In Time Ranger, Time Pink is the leader of the team.
Oh.
Which actually translated in both cases to the U.S. That happened in both instances. And then the second half of Jacker, Big One, is nominally the leader of the team, and he's the very first ever White Ranger. So it happens on occasion.
Yeah, Big One white and a lot of other colors.
Yeah, and the little rainbow stripe and whatnot. Same actor that played Zabat, for those who are wondering. So, final thoughts on this couple episodes?
Makes me definitely want to watch more. Makes me kind of want to go back on my own and watch the first 11 episodes.
I can help you make that happen.
All right.
So, well, folks, my final thoughts, it's Liveman, and Liveman is good. So, y'all did good by picking this one for us. We do appreciate it. I will say the next show that we're going to make our long-term project here on the series, we're keeping a secret. But...
I would say, yeah, I'm glad you picked the show. However, I regret nothing since there's Shaolin Fist. But no, thank you for picking Liveman. I'm really enjoying it.
Kamen Rider Super 1 will happen eventually. Trust me. So, because I do have all of it, and I want to watch all of it too. Even if it's something where it's just me and Josh and we get together. Maybe that'll be our show after we're done with Johnny Soccer.
Okay, I'm good with that.
So... All right, folks. Of course, please check out all the other great shows here on the ECS Network. You can see Josh on Chopsaki Cinema here on Wednesdays. Of course, I'm on Denzi Blitz on Tuesdays as well, so check that out. Rage Quit Radio's on Mondays, 8-Star Animes on Fridays. We got something new every day of the week for you, folks, Monday through Friday, so check it out. And if you want to help support us here on the ECS Network, you can get yourself some cool swag, get yourself a t-shirt or some such, including the hashtag Sincere Shaolin Fist shirt. You can grab that over at our Cafe Press store, cafepress.com/ECS Network, or you can become one of our patrons over at patreon.com/ECS Network. That'd be awesome too. All that money goes to help fund things for the network, such as the tripod our camera is sitting on, or the lighting rig that's in here. As it turns out, Chopsaki Cinema could use some lighting, folks.
Yes, so because the adjective I would use to describe our video quality is cavernous. We do what we can, folks. But yes, I would love lighting like we have right now.
So we've $100 is actually what we're shooting for as our next goal. That gets us a portable lighting rig for both 8-Star Anime and Chopsaki Cinema.
Nice.
So, all right, folks. Until next time, I'm Mike.
I'm Josh,
and we'll see you on Denzicaster.